why should they care? And by they, we mean clients. So just quick recap on yesterday. We went through and looked about like writing lists around how our client, what they care about, and really leaning into what are their pain points and the symptoms of their pain points, and what are the desires. So essentially, where are they stuck? Where are they at? And where do they want to be? And always listening to the language and being curiously curious all the time around what do clients want? This is really important because we know we change, clients change. And so we always have to be evolving our messaging aligned to this. So I just want to recap on yesterday. If you haven't started it, then let's start. It's not a done and dusted. Keep building on it. I'm constantly on sales calls. I've got a sales call this afternoon, and then I will be using the language that a client uses to think around, well, how is that relating or resonating with the clients or the prospects I have in my audience right now as well to use, as you can see with the example we shared yesterday. Now we're going to build on this because our messaging has to be really relatable when we are wanting to build and grow an audience. And I used to realize that I was posting content and no one responded to it. And I'd have people tell me that if you do XYZ, this works and it gets this traction, or it gets people sliding into the DMs and asking to know more about your services. And I didn't really believe that to be true. And then I started to focus more on them, not me. I think we can do this quite naturally. We want to share about ourselves all the time, but we can easily also default into a role where we don't consider the client in that way. It's not our fault, but we just need to be highly aware of how we're positioning our messaging so that it is relatable and connects with people to the point where they're like, that's me, I get it. Or they'll come to you saying things like, that just spoke to me, or that's exactly where I'm at, I'm stuck. So again, we want to just unpack exactly what that language is. And this is again why it really matters that we get close to messaging, because it will start to connect with your audience. And the more you connect with your audience, the quicker you'll grow. So I've come up with the 4 C's messaging model, right? It just helps bring some clarity to people who ask me, how do I nail my messaging? Like it's a quick, simple thing. And it can be simpler than we make it, but it does take time to evolve as well, which is okay. So we want to really be clear on, should say clarity, clarity, connection, communicate and convert. Sorry, clarify. So we need to have the clarity here and clarify. So I really want you to think around what you do. That's the purest form of messaging at the start, is you being able to share with somebody really super clearly, what do you do? Who do you help? And we're going to expand on this in a minute and break them down. But that has to be your sole purpose messaging there, about getting that across to somebody in a snapshot. So they're not thinking around, well, what does that mean to me? So, for example, when I go to a networking event, I'll often say something like, I help people stand out and dialing their messaging. Or I'll say, I help people stand out, build authority. Or I'll say, I help people get noticed or cut through the noise. Sometimes it depends the environments I'm in and the networks I'm in, but we really want to get it across to there. It's like the outcome of them thinking around, oh, okay, I get that. I need some help with that. Then we need to connect. We need to be relatable. We need to humanize our brand so that we show that we are human. We're not just a kind of a cog in a wheel or a business. And we can do this by talking about the things that we care about, because it will be aligned to what our clients care about. And if you didn't see yesterday, that's why we both unpacked looking at our values. Then we want to think about communication. Why you, your why, and build trust, because people buy from people that they trust. And when we talk back again to the funnel and attracting people in at the top, they're very much unaware of the problem that they may have. And what we do is we have to unpack that with them to get the clarification, the clarity on what is their problem. Because most people who come to me at this, or maybe meet me at a networking event or see me online, they won't realize that messaging is their problem until they start doing some of the work or seeing what I'm sharing. And they're like, okay, that hits home a bit. That's where I'm at. So we need to be really helping them at the start about how do we identify their problem and help them recognize that sooner, and then build that relationship with them where we nurture them, and then we make an offer to them at the right time. And often I'll see a lot of people with a sales process that want to jump from the first date to wanting to get married and have kids within a few days. It's just, we have to slow the process right down and take it step by step. So that's around building trust. And then we need to convert. We need to have that irresistible, no-brainer offer that is going to be positioned in terms of solving the problem that that client has. So that's why we have to be really clear on what are our clients' problems. So when we're going to clarify, this is about what you do in your expertise. And this is where some of the mindset work can kick in I don't know enough, or everyone's better than me. When you do have great expertise, knowledge, and experience in something, I don't tend to attract people that are really a lot younger than 28 or just out of university with no life experience or work experience. I attract people that have solid experience and can help somebody in something. So I want you to do the same and think around what problem do you solve and for who? And you may have heard this before, and it's there for the reason that this helps you just get clarity on who you help and why. So I help in a specific audience. So I would say I help entrepreneurs and business owners achieve whatever you do. So I would say cut through the noise, stand out by dialing in their messaging. So how you do it. So again, you can see another example I've got. I'm a messaging strategist helping coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs dial in their messaging to cut through the noise, attract dream clients, and drive consistent sales. So that's a bit lengthy at times, and I'll use and adapt that as I need to, dependent on where I am. But again, it just holds very strong for me on what I do and who I help. So this is all around that clarification on what you do. This is one of our core messages, is being able to share that with confidence. Then we want to think around a strong message that you have. And I think I shared it yesterday around we have to position ourselves in business. We then had the messaging part. So how are we positioning these messages? And then we have copy. And the copy is things that like we might share with some social media content, or we may do an article in a magazine, that's copy. But we need to be clear on the messages of what we're doing because it keeps it really clear for people. We don't go off on a tangent talking about loads of different things that aren't what we help people on. You will very rarely hear me talk around things like mental health. Whilst I am very passionate about that and very much support any work behind it, and I used to do a lot of work volunteering for a mental health organization, it's not aligned to what I help people on. So to start to talk about that would confuse my audience. And so we have to be really clear, and having this focus on our messaging helps us to stick to that and repeat the same things over and over. And it's important that we're consistent and we repeat messages because often it takes a number of times for people to see our content and what we share. So we just have to make sure it's always congruent. So connecting your story is about you focusing on sharing a relatable personal story that really humanizes your brand and creates this emotional connection. 80+% of sales is emotional. So we need to understand again what's going to connect somebody in an emotional positioning. So when you're thinking around this and how do you connect with your audience, and the more people you connect with step by step on this, the easier it is to grow your audience because people talk about what you do. One of my favorite quotes is by Walt Disney, where he talks about do what you do so well that people want to share it and bring others to see what you do. And I'm a sole believer in that. I'm not a big believer in you have to go out and get big numbers on things. You take it step by step, you build relationships, you influence people, and you have great conversations. That's what I believe to be true for business. So what is the obstacle or situation that they're faced with? So think around things that you've experienced. How does this tie in with what your audience is going through? So what you see here as an example, as something I talk around in my experience that shaped my business, is that I quit the corporate world after 20 years. So a prompt for you to think around is what's a defining moment in your life, your career, that reflects your values? Now, what you'll notices, and I've done a podcast on it, I've done loads of posts, I angle a lot of my LinkedIn content towards the messaging of this in terms of connecting my background of corporate into running my own business, because it attracts people who either are really not enjoying their experience in corporate, they're really unhappy and they want to leave and they don't know how to do it, and then they can see somebody that's done it and it brings that belief for them and that faith and that confidence that they could do it. Or it helps people that have left and want to know how to build a business. Maybe they've started out because they thought, I've got what I need, I can do this. And then they find, 6 to 12 months in, it's harder because they haven't got accountability, the support, the structure. They kind of don't know what they're doing and when. So by sharing my story of quitting a corporate world, the fact I left because the values weren't aligned anymore, I didn't enjoy it, and I wanted to have some more stronger purpose in life, and also I wanted to love what I do, that's why I quit. So I share that journey all the time because I'll get people come to me and say, I want to leave and I don't know how to do it. Can you help me? So it instantly attracts those people. So I'm into conversations about where are you at and how can I help you? I'm not into conversations about this is my offer and this is how much it is, and they're talking about they can't afford it. That's not the conversation. So again, it really helps if you can get a message out to the world that connects your story with your audience. Then we need to look at part three, which is communication, why you do what you do. So highlight your work and values build trust. This is a core focus here. So when we looked yesterday at values, it's getting you to think around things that you care about and talking about things that your audience care about. So why you started, what motivated you to start a business? So currently my mastermind, they've been doing a post this month, like a reinstruction post around who am I? And to share things in there beyond their business, to share things that would be relatable and would resonate with people that they want to serve and help. So then you can share things around the problems that you see, what are the pain points that you have helped people on. Start to share any testimonials that you have or case studies on clients that you've worked with where that you've started work with them because they were here, and I'm going to share with you how you can do this, and then they've overcome a challenge by implementing your strategies or what you share them to do, or the work they've done with you, and this is the result they get. That A to B transformation, that's what people invest in, the result. So you can start to share this by sharing about, again, the pain points of where you were and how you overcame that. So what drives you every day to serve your audience? Talk around that, your mission. So one of my missions is here is around to change the world of a small business through the relentless pursuit of what's possible. So I believe that the world needs to hear the special gift that only you have, and we can do that through the power of messaging. So what value or beliefs fuel your work? So again, this is an invitation to just take some time out, note things down, see what comes to mind, ask your audience. If you have an audience right now, ask them, what is it about the work that I share and what I do that resonates or that is relatable? Often I'll say to clients that your clients have the gold dust. I may not be your ideal client, so I don't know exactly where they're at. The people that are going to help you with some of the questions that you have right now are your clients, so the gold dust. And the final part is to convert. So who you are. So one of the things I'm always sharing around as a business owner, I'm very much no BS. So I'm definitely not the person to come to if we've been working together bi-weekly or month on month, and then you haven't done your actions. Like if there's not a strong rationale behind it, or there's things that have happened and I'm aware of it, and life does get in the way, of course, but I'm going to want to push you and drive you to hold you accountable to get the results that you want, because it's the action that's going to drive those results. So it's about, again, building that relationship with you to understand how you work and how to get the best out of you and see your potential. So I'll share this with people. I'll share that I'm known for that. That's okay. I like that. It differentiates me from other people because I want you to get results. I want you to lean in when it's hard, because when it's hard, that's your path to growth. That's when great things are going to happen. So this is all about showcasing your unique style, your personality, and your approach, because this drives results and inspires the action. So for you, with your messaging, I want you to think around one where it's your unique style. How do you do what you do? What principles guide you or do you believe to be true? So I believe sometimes in business, you have to put in the hours and you have to work hard at things. And I believe there are seasons where you're going to work longer hours than other periods of time, because that's what I've seen to be true to get results. And that's not just my own, it's my clients and it's other people I've been working with and exposed to in business. So it's a belief I have. But what you notice here is that all of these beliefs and what I value are what again aligns people. They either like it or they don't. And we have to be that. If we're speaking to everybody in a market, we're speaking to nobody. And again, I can't remember if I alluded to it yesterday, but the exact example of if you want to lose fat and you've got four coaches in front of you, one says I do health and fitness, one says I do meditation and well-being, and one says I do nutrition, fitness, and another says I'm a fat loss coach. In your head, that fat loss coach is the person you want to speak to. Doesn't matter how good the others are, because your pain points and your symptoms are, I'm fat. He told me that he does fat loss coaching. I need to speak to him about that. So it's how we break through and cut through the noise. So we want to be really thinking again, like who we are, what we do, how we've been relatable, and how we actually speak to the audience that we want, because this will really help you. So this is great, but what we need to do is get some examples, because that will help you take what we're sharing here and bring it to life. So you've got things you can walk away from today and literally do right now. So the best way to talk around clarification and to bring clarity to what you do is to show, not tell, and give examples. So I talk again a lot about the fact that when I was in corporate, I was really unhappy. I could never hold a relationship down. And now I talk to my audience about my partner. I talk about Tom. We have unpacked and shared together what we're happy to talk about and what we're not happy to talk about on social media. So we keep it very like professional, but also like confidential. And I respect his space as well with that. But we talk about our journey together because it gets a lot of engagement. People love love. So again, think around what you want to personally share in your life. If you don't want to share, if you've got kids, that's fine. You can either blur out their faces. There's multiple ways that we can position ourselves in our messaging. But again, it's just a sentiment about people connect emotionally on things. I share there around again being really corporate to now, like speaking as well has given me the confidence of being around the table in male dominated environments. But that's given me the confidence to now stand up and be visible in my business, which is really important because you have to be visible to grow a business and my own fat loss journey. So I was overweight, really unhappy, low self-esteem, didn't feel happy in myself. So I went on my own fitness journey to lose weight and prove the point that you can achieve what you want to and push past my own boundaries as well. So I'm demonstrating different areas of my life where I can get results. And I share very similar with clients as well now in terms of the A to B transformation, because that's what we want people see. And that's helped build trust. Then we've got connection posts. So this is exactly, you can take these ideas as templates and you can adapt them to you and your business. If you want some support on that, by all means, ask, share ideas as well. That's the purpose of having the WhatsApp space at the moment. But emotionally connect and build trust with your audience. So people are untouchable when they look perfect and life looks amazing because it's not a reality. Like I know that to be true. I'm sure you know that it's not as always as rosy as you want it to be or it can be perceived to be. So lean into that, talk about that, share that because this kind of post gets good engagement all the time. So successful messaging taps into emotions. Show that you understand their struggles. So I get sometimes people say, I look like I've got all my SHIT together. I certainly don't feel that. And there's a lot of smoke and mirrors online. So build that transparency with people. So on here, you'll see I did a carousel. I spoke about, look, I'm a business-minded woman, but I also struggle to be motivated. I've shared with a lot of my clients in my membership and mastermind. I've really struggled this month. I've not enjoyed January. It's really cold. I like the warm. I can be a bit grumpy. I still show up for my clients. I'm loving what I do, but I'm just not feeling it quite the same. It's been a tougher month to get going. So I share that. I shared it sometimes. It's really hard to switch off and have fun and be with my family. It's hard to stick to a food plan when I want to work on my fitness because I want all of it. But I love it when I do switch off and have a laugh. Then I struggle when I look in the mirror because I judge myself. I can't stay focused. I worry what people think about me, even though I try not to. And I struggle, even though I've worked on it so much from a mentor about people not liking me. But I share those struggles because other people will be thinking this too. And those other people are my ideal clients. So share your own struggles with people as well. Communicate. So how we can communicate our messages. So I do a weekly debrief every Sunday. I could have added actually one I had the weekend said I love the debriefs. They're very random. I get different people follow, but I also have the focus that there may be people in my audience who don't need what I do, but they know someone who needs what I do. So I'll sometimes roll out to people and say, who do you know who needs what I do? But I'm able to share again, like the weekly debrief just reflects on other things beyond business. So again, it builds that relationship. So you see me and my mum there. I did some fun stuff at Halloween with my niece. I go on long walks. I like some time out on my own and I talk about that. I do my fitness stuff and I'll talk again about what went really well, what didn't. So it allows for us to share reflections, lessons. And the biggest thing for me about this is the same as my podcast, which I do weekly, it keeps me consistent. And I think consistency is really underrated. The ability to do that thing over and over and create a reason in your messaging why people come back to you. This is what this is really aimed at. So this is how you can communicate with people. And then convert who you are. This is about being relevant. So this post, as you can see there, this is on LinkedIn, got me 28,000, 29, nearly 30,000 impressions. It went a bit wild. And again, like it proves the point, right? It's an example to show that what I do gets engagement. So I was sharing a that post actually that you see there, me in a fitness shoot, and I posted it on Instagram, and somebody replied saying, "It's a shame you have to post this to be seen." Well, social media and sharing stuff and getting people's attention is currency, right? So that's fine. That's her view. I then took what she shared and I blocked her. And I put the point around, I didn't have to block her, but I also put the point around like, I don't really need somebody who's going to doubt me or be that way or make me think about what I'm sharing or not be aligned to it and basically put their insecurities onto me in that way. Like, I don't need to listen to that. So I then shared that, as you can see, as a post on LinkedIn. And I did that and backed it up with loads of points. And I even shared one point about thank you because you got me one of the best engagement posts I've ever had on LinkedIn, which is amazing. So again, like use the things that are your challenges, lean into those as well, because there's also opportunities there. So convert, like talk about who you are. And I did stand from something. I'm like, I'm not going to say that's okay just to kind of troll or say something nasty to pull someone down. That's not cool. And if you looked at what I was sharing, it wasn't about that. So again, stand for some things in your messaging, break through the noise in having a belief, and it's not going to be liked by everybody, and that's okay. Make it for the right people. Okay. And that's again why we need to be really clear on the clarity of who are we for. So I want you to really think around as an action for today. Yesterday we had a part about really thinking around again the pain points, the desires of people, and really getting close to that. Today, I really want you to think around storytelling. And I want you to take something that's quite topical as a news story. It's a great way just to take this step by step and implement and get something done. You can share and tag me in them on social media if you want to. You can brainstorm an idea. You can think about, does this work? Does it not? If you want to share it in a community as well. But I want you to take something that's news topical, right? And make it relevant to you. So this will help you to really storytell, and stories connect us. It's a great way of getting messaging out there. You can add some how-tos if you want to, but really position yourself with credibility and authority. Like, why should your audience listen to you? Now, again, I had a picture. This was when Taylor, it was 22nd of June, I did this. Again, it didn't get too bad on engagement. I think I shared this one, is LinkedIn still. And I put Taylor in a leotard, me in that, like they get attention. That's just how it is. That's marketing. And I put, she loves attention. That's what my partner Tom said. And I was like, yes, but don't we all type of thing. And I've just built off of that. So I've made it about messaging, etc., and what I do. But again, take a story or something that's topical. I don't often talk about politics, or I never do really, but I did share a kind of unbiased piece when it was the Trump election a few months back. So again, you can always take something that's very topical and share it. I did a email and I shared a post on Saturday or Sunday all around a TikTok ban and what that means for businesses and what it means to us. So I want you to think around now what's relatable, what's going to resonate as something that's quite topical as a news story for your audience, and weave your messaging into it in a certain way. So that's the action for today. If you need some help on it, ask away. It doesn't have to come overnight. It doesn't have to come quick. You may want to map out a bit of storytelling in terms of what are some of the moments in your life that you want to share and tell, because you don't have to share everything. There's stuff in the corporate world that I don't share and I don't need to share, and that's okay. But this can really get you thinking around how you have a different spin and stand out with your messaging.